and welcome to a very special edition of Wide Open Throttle, because not only are we here at the Frankfurt Motor Show, but we're joined by two very special guests. I have Frank von Meel, the head of Quattro GmbH, and Stephan Reil, the head of development for Quattro GmbH. And we're going to jump right into this. Gentlemen, Americans do not know what Quattro GmbH is. What is it?
Well, Quattro GmbH is a 100% subsidiary company of Audi AG. We are the high-performance company, as to say, and we stand for performance, of course, we stand for individuality, and we stand for emotion.
Okay.
And we do that by using four main pillars. One of that are the RS models, like the RS5, RS7, the TTRS, and the R8 as our lighthouse super sports car. We have customer racing,
right?
Like the R8 customer racing car, which was in Daytona in January. Very successful, by the way. We have individuality, which we do by Audi exclusive. So you as a customer can choose to pick whatever individual note you want from your car, colors, materials.
Purple carpet.
Whatever you like. If you say the color of your tires, what you want, we make it for you.
Okay.
And of course we have accessories like caps and everything that we use for our races to bring what Audi stands for to your normal day living as well.
But I think for a lot of people there's confusion, because you could get an A3 that has Quattro, but that has nothing to do with Quattro GmbH, the manufacturer.
That's correct. Quattro GmbH was founded 30 years ago, exactly 30 years ago, more or less.
Yeah.
This is our 30th anniversary this year.
Gotcha.
It was founded to protect the brand name Quattro, because 30 years ago, Audi started with the four-wheel drive train, bringing it to normal passenger cars with the Quattro as a wording, and in order to protect it, the company was founded. So that's where it all comes from. And later on, the company started to develop their own cars, and all the other things I just said, so that's where we come from. And yes, we have two ways of using Quattro. Quattro as a drivetrain technology, but also Quattro as a high-performance company, Quattro GmbH.
We're going to talk about where you're going for us a little bit. We're in front of the beautiful Sport Quattro concept. Care to talk about that?
Of course, I'd love to talk about that. Where we are going is, I think, the best can be seen over the past 12 months, because we brought 4 new RS models into the market, having now a total of 8 RS models worldwide on the market. We brought the RS5 Cabriolet, the RS6 Avant, the RS7, and the RS Q3 is coming up right now. So we are expanding our product portfolio, and also we are expanding into the markets, also into the US. We started with the TTRS, the RS5, RS5 Cabriolet, and now of course the RS7 is coming. So you can see that Quattro GmbH now is coming to the US. So hopefully you will notice us more in the future.
But specifically this concept and the Nanook Quattro concept as well, there seems to be a theme going here that you guys really seem to want to build something that says Quattro the way we all think about it, as a rally car, as the Quattro from the 1980s. Is that what you're trying to do here?
Well, what we of course want to do is to bring more to the public how close we are to racing, because our heritage comes from racing. You can see that with the R8 customer racing car, the series production car, which share more than half of all parts are shared, especially the engine. Of course, we have DTM racing with the RS5 as a race car. So you see that we are very close to racing, and Quattro is where it all comes from, even though it was banned by the FIA in 1996 because it was too fast.
Well, let's talk about. I want to get.
Okay, you want to get
Stephan, tell me about that car.
The Sport Quattro concept we show here as a concept car is, let's have a view in the future, we call it. The car is based on the new architecture of the MLB. We call it modular, longitudinal based.
Right, so A4, A5, 6, 7, 8.
It's
Cayenne,
A4,
Q7,
A5, Q7, A6, A8 are built on. And for the next generation of that platform, that is where this car is based on. The engine is taking nearly serious from the new RS6, RS7.
Okay.
And
so it's the 560 horsepower twin turbo 4-liter V8.
Yeah.
Okay.
and it's connected with a new transmission with an electric motor disc in it. So it's a hybrid car. It's got a lot of details we are keen of showing in future cars. For example, the instrument panel, which is free program, the steering, the design elements.
You and I met on a racetrack near San Marino in Italy, and I noticed, I was sitting in the car, and I noticed you can go through, and here's a map of Le Mans, here's the Nürburgring. Is that something that will maybe make it into future Audi or Quattro GmbH cars?
Yeah, well, the big benefit such free programmable display offers that you have a whole bunch of possibilities. And of course, you have, such as you said, for racing applications. Yeah. Well, you can think of taking GPS signals and bring them in, have a lap timer in there where you really can maybe store it on a stick and have it at home at your computer. That's all our future possibilities.
Right. So we'd definitely love to see elements, if not the complete sport Quattro concept there in production, but we have to wonder about the Nanook as well. This is the second time that you've built a diesel sports car. Is this still something you're pursuing?
Well, this is where the Nanook is put. It's a complete new segment. It's a mid-engine sports car with off-road capabilities.
So like an all-road, but with two doors and mid-engine.
Yeah, even more than an all-road, because it really got a lift, a four-corner air suspension lift, and it's a mid-engine sports car. And it's a sport activity vehicle in some sort of extreme sport activity vehicle.
Okay.
And it's really a show car. We're here for the show, where we want to see how is the feedback, the response on the car from journalists and from potential customers. And then we will decide how to move on.
Well, going with that for just a second, in terms of the difference between a show car and maybe something that is more production intent, I was sort of taking a look at the specs on the Sport Quattro, and it's pretty close to size-wise of an RS5. It's a little wider, it's a little shorter, but I recognize that steering wheel. Like, I mean, how close are you guys? Obviously, Audi should do a Quattro coupe.
Those are two questions, because you said you saw a lot of details inside that you like. There are a lot of details on the car that we also like, and which we are already pursuing for upcoming cars, and which are very interesting for us. The free programmable displays, the steering wheel, the design things in that car, and of course we are already on the way thinking of how to bring that into future cars. The car itself really is first of all meant as a show-off what the upcoming platform can do. Of course, we took a lot of components that are currently available, like the engine, but this is more about what the future might bring and what will be possible in the future on the new platform.
Well, let me ask you this then. So we know that the hybrid system, it's an existing engine plus, I assume, existing Volkswagen Group hybrid technology. Is that powertrain, is it slated to show up in anything like the Bentley SUV? Any other products?
Well, I can only talk for Quattro GmbH.
Okay.
So other Quattro products.
Yeah, other Quattro products.
Well, I'll hand that over to the R&D guy because it's all about performance and what we want to produce from the positioning of our cars and want to give to our customers, and what RS models stand for. And I think that if you break that down, you will find the solutions to the questions.
See, creating a new car is much more than just putting components together.
Of course.
As we are normally starting, our base when we do an RS model is the S model of the range. For example, when we start with an RS6, our base to jump up is the S6 model. And so, as I said, this is the future platform for the next gen cars.
Gotcha.
So, till we jump on that to bring an RS, there's even more time to go.
So, in other words, if I can interpret that, so the next A5 would have to be born, and then there'd have to be an S version, and then you can start thinking about an RS5.
Even that we are...
the thinking starts earlier.
I know that.
Yeah. But even if we are, as we are now, earlier in the life cycle of a new model, normally in the past the RS model showed up around in the mid-section
Yes.
of the life cycle of the base car. With RS6, RS7, we are now 2 years after launch of the base model. And this is our future philosophy to come earlier. Not right at the beginning, but let's say in between the first 2 years.
Okay.
And
is there a reason to do that?
Yeah, of course. See, if you get a customer and the customer is satisfied and the customer loves its car, the cars run out of production because the base car runs out of production. If it takes another 4 years till you come up with the next RS model, that customer is gone.
Right.
And of course, we now have a real, because we are so successful with our models in the past 2 years, we want to keep those customers and have them after the ramp down of the old car. We will show up in between 2 years with our new RS model. So this is the normal time where the customer holds his cars. So he can buy one of the last ones and then with the early ones, and then he is still in the right car.
Okay. So let's talk about a new product that's on the market, RS7 for the US and then RS6 for everywhere else. Last time I saw you, we had about 9 glasses of grappa and we were screaming at each other about the motor in the RS7. And you were saying that it, so I want to ask you, the difference between the S8 4-liter and the one in the RS6, RS7?
Well, those two engines are, I call them brothers.
Okay.
They're not twins, but they're brothers. See, we jumped up from the S8 engine. We took over the COD technology, cylinder on demand, where on low loads and low RPMs the engine runs due to fuel efficiency reasons only as a 4-cylinder engine.
Sure.
If you need the power and snap on the pedal, then it's immediately going with 8 cylinders. The crankhouse, for example, is the same. We changed the turbochargers for the higher output we need on RS6 and RS7.
Okay.
And everything that is built around the engine. So air intake, air filter, the exhaust system is different because the S8 is a much larger car, where in an RS6, RS7 engine compartment, everything is much closer, and so we only have one large air filter, for example, where the S8 is running 2 small ones.
Okay. No, so you know, they're both MLB modular.
Yeah.
Could the RS7 motor go into something like an RS8? I know that nomenclature gets weird because you have an R8 already, but you know, with the next S8 or RS, could there be an RS8?
I think that's more not a technical issue. I think it's more, let's say, not ideological. It's pure
like a marketing reason.
And marketing reasons. The S8 is a very good car.
Yes.
The S6, S7 are currently driving with 420 horsepower.
Right.
The S8 has 520.
Yes.
Our basic philosophy is to at least have 100 horsepower more than the strongest car there is in the lineup, in this case the S.
Okay.
So for an RS8, we should have gone way over 600 horsepower.
I don't see a problem.
Also with the related price in the market region, and then it gets very narrow. So to be honest, the S8 is such a good car, it makes the market niche very small and not attractive.
Sure. Okay. So the
Speaking of attractive markets, though,
go ahead, yeah.
How about that RS6? Why do you suppose it is that Americans don't like really fast station wagons enough to make that car viable in the United States? Because we really like it.
And the RS4.
That too.
I wouldn't say Americans do not like the RS6 Avant, because there are Americans that do like the RS6 Avant.
There's two right here.
Yeah. I know a couple more.
I bet you do.
But the case is, we have an RS6 and an RS7, and if you look at the customer groups and in the US, there is a much bigger demand for a coupe, or for a limousine type of car, than for an Avant. And since we didn't want to bring two more or less very, very similar cars, just with a different body style to the same market. We decided to bring the RS7 and not the RS6 because the market potential was just not big enough.
But let me ask you, so what AMG does, they do bring the E63 to the US, special order only. So you have to go to the dealer, can't get it on the website, it's not on the website, you have to know, and you go to the dealer and you place an order, and it's like a secret. You know, have you guys thought about some kind of strategy like that for the RS6?
We are always in discussion with our colleagues from Audi of America, and we're always trying to figure out if there is a way of doing that, and we'll keep that discussion up.
Okay. One thing, the S8 and the RS6 and 7, they both have that ZF fast shifting 8-speed automatic, not a dual clutch. What's the reason? Is it you don't have a dual clutch that can handle the torque of that motor?
The torque our double clutch transmission can stand is limited.
Right.
And with the RS6 and RS7 application of the V8 twin turbo, we jump over that limit. Okay. So we jumped in the torque converter 8-speed transmission, which is already used in the S8.
Yeah, which is incredibly fast shifting for an automatic.
And we redesigned that for even faster shifting. And when you drive that car, you will, from shifting times, you will feel no difference. And of course, coming out of standstill, when you accelerate the car, the torque converter transmission gives you the benefit of that over torquing. And
brake torquing, we call it. Yeah.
And even has a better start than the double clutch.
So to
be honest, the double clutch is a little more efficient than a torque converter, but we balance that as the transmission we use. The torque converter is an 8-speed with a long 8th gear, with a ratio like an overdrive. And this is also, again, good for fuel consumption.
Because the S8, we haven't even tested the RS7 yet, but we got the S8 to 60 miles an hour in 3.5 seconds, which is incredible for a car. I think it weighs 4,600 pounds or something. It's incredible. So, yeah, it does. You can brake torque and
But have we got
RS7 will not be slower, I tell you.
Well,
that's a very British way of saying some things.
Well, but the E63 wagon, just so you know, was 3.4. So RS7 better be quicker, otherwise,
Just take a look.
Give us a car. Speaking of what kind of transmission, our viewers, they always, I won't drive it unless it has a manual. So where? Maybe not even within Quattro GmbH, but where is the manual transmission? Dual clutches are so quick and so good. Automatics are so quick and so good. Does the manual have a future?
It will have a future, but the customer's demand will drop in the future. Because the double clutch gives you the best out of two worlds.
Yeah.
So you can shift by the paddles over the lever. Extremely fast.
Yeah.
When you're stuck in traffic, you can use it as an automatic transmission.
Right.
With the launch control, the acceleration from standstill is better than on a manual.
Sure.
And I give you an example. On the TTRS, we have both. We started with the manual, 6-speed manual, and then we came in with a 7-speed double clutch. And here in Europe, we introduced a double clutch. The installation rate of manual went down like this, and we are now stuck in markets where we offer both. We are stuck by under 10% manual installation rate.
And it's the same thing because we've driven the new R8 with that great double clutch. Finally, I would say, has the take rate for the manual fallen because of the double clutch? You see the same thing?
Same thing.
So then the question then becomes, does the manual transmission have a future at Quattro?
Well, strategically, I'd say the manual transmission is really on a downward spiral, and probably it will go out of the market in the next decade because, like Stephan said, of course the double clutches are so fast. They're faster than shifting yourself, and they're better in fuel consumption. So you can see that in the fuel consumption numbers and the 0 to 60 numbers, the dual clutch is faster. And now that also the other transmissions are coming up with faster shifting times and longer gears, there are just, at this time, there are only advantages. There's no disadvantages, except for the fact that you don't have a manual.
Right. Right.
It's looking like the manual is going away.
And another thing I wanted to add is why I love double clutch transmissions. When you drive the car on the racetrack, you have both hands on the steering.
Of course.
And in our cars, when you put it on a double clutch car, you put it to manual mode, then you're stuck in gear. That means the transmission behaves like a manual.
Yeah.
When you run to the rev limiter, there will be no automatic upshift. It will stay there,
right.
And therefore it behaves just like a manual, with the big benefit that you have both hands on the steering.
Yeah.
And if you drive a car at the limit, at the edge, well, you better have both hands on the steering.
So I think I'm almost out of beer. You're almost out of beer. So last question. The R8. It's been you gotta drink up. R8's been a great success for you guys. I mean, I think more than winning Le Mans 9 times, it's really elevated Audi as a performance brand in a lot of people's eyes. It's old at this point, or getting old at this point. Even if you can't comment on specifics, what's the future of the R8? What's the next R8?
What would you like it to be?
Well, I wouldn't want to say it's getting older because
It's older.
Well, it just got a facelift, as to speak, from the real world and also the car world.
Sure.
Which gave it the new gearbox, which
Yes.
is a double clutch, very fast, very emotional. We put a lot of new technology into the car. And it's still an iconic car from a design-wise standpoint.
Absolutely.
So it's
but I mean, I was at the launch of that car in 2007, or the premiere of it. I remember in 2003 the Nuvolari concept. So that's a decade now of that shape. I mean, it is older. Being polite, it is old in reality. So like what? I mean, and again, I don't want specifics. What's it going to look like? It's like where does the R8? Well, I assume it's very important for Audi, for Quattro.
Yes, well, what you could see right now is that we, with the facelift already, we brought the new gearbox into the car, which will be also, if we go to upcoming generations, it will be the right gearbox to have, because it's just incredible good. We developed a lot of stuff in the customer racing segment, especially regarding carbon fiber, aerodynamics, and things like that. And of course, if we are starting with a new generation, those are all issues that we take into account if we do a new car, as well as with the R8 e-tron, because also with that car we learned a lot about composite structures of the car, aluminium, carbon fiber technology in an intelligent mixed way. So these are all things we have in mind and things we are currently working out for a possible coming up future generation.
Okay. Well, I think that about does it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.